We are here today with another episode of Let's Chit Chat About Money. And so I'm one of your hosts, Dr. Vernika. And of course, we have my beautiful co-host here, Dr. Renee. Say hello, Dr. Renee.
Hello. Hello, everyone. How are you this afternoon?
Yes. Yes. Every look, I'm sure it is great no matter where they are. I know some
Yeah.
places it may be afternoon, some places it may be morning, but look, hello wherever you are. And so I'm excited for today.
I
Today
am
we
too.
are starting a brand new series. So yeah, Dr. Ford, do you want to introduce it or would you like me to get into it?
You can introduce it. You can go ahead and introduce it.
Okay, so we thought we would take a little different approach for the month of July. We are going to do a series about really, we call them the four transgressions that can happen when money meets relationships. So, in love and relationships and in finance. So, for July, we are going to cover over the next 4 weeks, we're going to talk about the love, the
Mm,
lies, the greed and envy involved in relationships and finance. And hopefully, after this series, after we just kind of talk and have some conversation, we can find a great way to meet in the middle. So that's
mm,
our objection. And it's so cool so far. You know, some of the things we've talked about, some of the conversations that have spun have been crazy in a good way,
right.
though. And it's things
Right.
that we need to talk about, especially in relationships and friendships and just in general. So
Right.
today we are going to get into part one, episode one. The question
Mm,
is dun, 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 is it broke or building? So the question is, are you it's a perspective on your mates. So, the question is, do you look at them as broke or do you look at them as building? And so, it takes two different ways. The great thing about this, it's no right or wrong answer. It's about perspective. And so today we're going to get into some different perspectives and go from there. So I have actually come up with a few different questions, just a girl talk with my with my girl here, Dr. Ford, and just kind of see what she thinks. Now, I will say we're going to give a couple of people's perspectives. So, of course, it's just the two of us on the show, but we did a little background work. So, you're going to get perspectives from different people. Dr. Ford here is a married woman, a happily married woman, and I am single. So you're going to get my perspective from a single woman. Now, on the background, we don't have guest people here today, but we will come, some of these series. And so we did get two perspectives of two different gentlemen who, have dealt in both of those worlds. One is single, one is a single father, and the other is he's also a father, but he has been married before. So we're going to get into the questions. I'm going to ask, Dr. Ford, her perspective. I'll kind of give y'all, the guy's perspective.
mm.
And like I said, just kind of go from there. Then I'll give y'all my perspective last. Is that cool? Does that
Sounds
sound
good.
well?
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. So we're going to kick it off with this first scenario. So, like I said, with the title of, broke or building, of course, we have two people in a relationship. You have, a man and a woman who are serious. Like for me, it would be somebody that I would be seriously dating. For Dr. Renee, that would be her husband. That would be her, perspective there. Of course, we both have dreams, we both have visions. But at different times of our lives, we get to, one person may get to their dream quicker than the other, or somebody may want to kind of reroute as we go. So, saying that, we're going to address this transition period. You have two people, you're trying to merge two lives into one, but let's look at this transition period. So for the first question, let's say, for me, I'm going to say, we met during this transition period. For Dr. Renee, let's say that their transition period is during their marriage. The question is, would you consider saying that, dreams, typically somebody has to take the back seat on one person pursuing their dreams versus the other. Would you be okay with that? Would you be okay with taking the back seat for your husband to pursue his dream? What do you say, Dr. Ford?
I would be. I definitely would be. I would definitely take the back seat so that he could pursue his dreams, especially if they're valid. I mean, not if they were valid dreams. He had the momentum. He was, he was a go-getter. Of course, if he was very sincere about what he wanted to do and had the drive to do it, and then of course I would give it my 100%. So yeah, most definitely I would, I would definitely take the back seat to that. Yeah.
Okay. Now keep in mind though, taking the back seat in this scenario means, okay, I'm going to take on the responsibility. I'm going to take on, the bills. I may still have to keep the household going. My husband might not be able to cook. I don't know. You can answer that. But, typically a lot falls on that person. Are you still okay with that, being in love?
I am. I think it takes all of that to make a relationship. I mean, especially like I said earlier, if the transition is valid, if you're going back to school or trying to start a business, and you can see the potential, you can see, further out in the future than just right now, then I definitely see. I definitely believe that transition with me taking on all the responsibilities would definitely be something that I would do. And I mean, I wouldn't have an issue with that. Period. And I know you said like taking on the bills and the cooking dinner, making sure everything is in order. I don't have a problem with that if I know that they're very sincere about their dream and making it happen.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so let me give you the two guys scenarios that we talked to on the side that I talked to. One of them, the one that's the single father, said he wouldn't have any trouble with taking it on. He would happily take that on for the woman he loves. Now, I ain't gonna lie. I like the way that sounded. If somebody was gonna let me do me and take on everything, and that gives him joy, that would give me more joy.
You need to marry him today.
Well, that's easy.
You need to go.
But it does sound good. I'm not gonna lie, it sounds real tantalizing. It's almost
that's not very often that you hear that. So that's
no, it's not.
Yeah, it's not. That's very important that somebody wants to be that supportive of you and willing to sacrifice that to allow you to pursue your dreams. It's awesome. So you definitely need to call him up and you need to marry him.
Well, look, I don't know if he would be interested or not. We'll have to find that out off camera. But I know that offer did sound good. I mean, that offer sounded like steak and potatoes to somebody who hadn't eaten in 3 weeks. That sounded good. Now, the other person, the other gentleman said, you know what? We would have to have a conversation first. And I can dig it. He was like, the question is, what is your dreams? Like, how far is this going to set us back? What's the time span on this? Are we talking, a couple of months? Are we talking about 1 or 2 years? Are we talking about like you having to leave the family to go, maybe study abroad or take on, extra, I don't know, like extracurricular items that might have to deal with you coming up? And I like that because I never really thought about it. I'm like, you're right. There is a conversation that needs to be had. And I ain't gonna lie, I would have that conversation, but I didn't think about that right then. That was his first take.
So guy number 2 sounds very methodical. So he's saying it's got to be this, and this, and this. And if it's not this, and this, and this, then it's not, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, is basically what he's saying.
Well, he said he needs to know what he's jumping into. So he needs to know, am I tied up for 2 years? Or does that mean, I'm going to take on everything from now on? Because he did throw out another scenario where he was like, where are we in this relationship? Like, do I have a great job and you have a great job? And now let's just say we both making 6 figures. Now your 6-figure income is dropping off. Like, what are we talking about? Are you still going to have like some responsibility as we go? Are you still going to pay some bills, just not as much? Or are you dropping off completely? And that is an amazing conversation.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's something to talk about.
Yeah, most relationships, most people agree that communication, there needs to be more of that. And I honestly loved his answer. My question, when it comes to me, can I take back seat? Yeah, I can, but I agree with him. It needs to be a time limit because it's a fine line between me saying, okay, yeah, pursue your dreams, whatever. And, I'm like, okay, you zealous, you're a go-getter. But eventually I'm going to wake up on one day that I'm tired and cranky, and maybe the children have been up all night. And I'm going to look over at you and I'll be like, you lazy. Like, you disgusting. It's a little disgusting now. So for me, I would need to know those parameters and then just kind of go from there. So
I think a timeline is important. I do. Because you don't want to, allow someone to, pursue their dreams and then they do not follow through, or like you say, they become lazy and they lose the morale, or things are not working out. Then then you need to come back to the table and talk about it and see, what's the next step. So I agree with you as well, because you definitely don't want them to, lose sight as to the dream. And then you're still holding the bag, trying to take care of all the responsibilities in the household while they are just trying to figure it out. No,
right, right. And even though it is them, all of their decisions affect the household. And so, we do have to work together. All of these are moving parts. The idea is for all the moving parts to move together so that we can be a unit. Other than that, it's not going to work. So I agree totally. Now I'm gonna go on to the next question. So, how you said you would gladly take the back seat?
Yes.
Gladly. Love. This is my man. He's my everything. Here on earth. That's amazing. The question is, how long do you support? And let me give you a context of where this is. Let's say you and him discuss, okay, this is going to take us 2 years to get where we are. But, he's going to be happier. You're going to be happier and y'all going to be able to move forward. But let's just say some things came up as we went along. That 2 years, some things happened, life happened. He may not be as zealous as he was in the beginning. What about if that 2 years goes to 7 years? Are you still 7 years? 7 years?
It's definitely time to have a talk. Yeah, it's time to have a talk. 2 years in one day. So
yes, you ain't lying about that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's time to have a talk 2 years in one day. So but I think too, if you have a timeline, if you have something strategic that you are following to meet that goal, that objective, then I think that would be doable. And then if you have to go over that timeline, that 2 years and 6 months, then that's okay. But if you're not doing anything when 2 years come around, then hey, it's time to go back to the table. You need to go get a job or do something else.
All right. So from this scenario, like I said, if it did take you 7 years and y'all did have this conversation before, now does that allow you that if you're not feeling it, like, are you out? Or am I so in love that, okay, I am willing to pour a little bit more into this man in this relationship? What do you think, Dr. Ford?
Well, I would think that if the man knows that he's not accomplished his goals and that the house needs him to provide for the family, then I would hope that he would do something. I would hope that he would go out and get a job or do whatever he needs to do. And in the meantime, if he still wants to pursue his dreams, do that, but don't allow his family to suffer because he's trying to pursue his dreams and not taking care of his family.
Okay. Now, just a little perspective from the two guys that we talked to. One of them, the one that was a single father, the one that said it would give him joy to take this on. Like I said, shout out to you. You know, he was like, I would hang in there. Like, if I'm in love with her and she's doing what she's supposed to, his take was, as long as she is, you know, at home when I need her to be, she takes care of the children, she takes care of him and his needs, we'll just leave that there. You know, he's okay. Like, however long it takes, as long as my belly is full and I can look at you and you still love and respect me, that's all I really need. And I was actually shocked at that answer. But that's
do you have his number still?
I probably could find it. I probably could find it if I scroll in my phone.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Now, you know, some of that can be a drawback, because a lot of times if men decide, okay, I'm going to, you know, I'm gonna give her whatever she wants. A lot of them have that king of the castle type mentality. Like, okay, I'm taking care of her. I can go do what I want to do. If I see a pretty young fine thing walking around, you know, body looking right, you know, her lip gloss just right that day, you know, he you know, a lot of times you can have that take, and he kind of alluded to that, you know, I'm taking care of her, and as a man, who knows, I might step out sometimes. Now, that was the part that I was like,
that's not a good look. That's not a good look.
But his whole thing was, you know, he outwardly said men are dogs. They can be dogs. They can have a doggish mentality. And I thought that was interesting, because through another question came, all right, if you felt like that, you know, can that woman go out there? She's still taking care of you. Your stomach is still full. She's still taking care of your needs. You know, if you out here doing what you want to do, is that okay for her? What do you think his answer was, Dr. Ford?
I would think no. I mean, I don't know any man that would, I mean, I don't know anybody personally that would be okay with that. You know what I mean? You know, it's like it's different for men and women, you know, things that men can do, women can't get by with, you know, it's like they're ridiculed for. So I don't agree with him. I don't agree with that at all.
I don't either. And of course, his answer was like, no, she can't do that. You know, she's a woman.
Why not? Why not? You're doing it.
Right, exactly. But, you know, his whole thing was like, well, you know, women, they have different standards than men.
Okay, I agree with that.
And I agree with that. Interesting.
Yeah, because I guess as a woman, if you want to hold yourself to a higher standard, you know, and I think that's what he's probably saying, is that women should hold themselves higher than the man, because, you know, men, like he said, men are prone to go outside of the relationship. And so, not all men, but I'm just saying, you know, what he's talking about. But and I think that he's saying that a woman should, you know, have a higher standard, you know, to contain themselves and just wait for their significant other to be there for them when they need them to.
But, you know, that sounds rational. But I mean, I'm just saying, I ain't gonna lie. If my standards are up here and your standards are down here, how we gonna meet in the middle? And I'm not talking about here. We should be able to meet here.
Exactly. Well, I agree with you. I agree.
So in order for us to meet in the middle that way, you know, I'm gonna have to bring myself down some, and he's gonna have to bring himself up. If we were really on that page as great mates or really compatible, we should be like, okay, there's space here. Like, you meet me forward, I meet you forward. Versus, you know, I'm gonna do what I want to do and whatever else. And I will say my response as I went was like, you know what? You know, he was like, well, how would you feel about that? My thing would be, I gave my flat out most real answer. And that is, you know, I'm not going to say I wouldn't love you or still care about you, but I would never never feel the same about you again. I would never look at you at the same light. I would never give you the same high regard. I'm not saying that I couldn't work past it at some point, but what I am saying is you are diminished in my eyes. Now, where I would have taken into, I guess, more, would have taken into account more of what, he thought.
Right.
Not anymore. Like now you can take it or leave it. And one of the things that I brought up is, yeah, you can do what you want to do, but you need to expect consequences behind that thing. If I don't treat you the same way, if I decide not to, I don't want to be at home, you stay with the kids. I'll go out, meet my girls, go have a little talk, maybe have a little drink,
Have a drink. Yeah, just chill out. Yeah.
Now you have nothing to say because I was doing my part and you decided to do something else. So, like I said, I really enjoyed the way these questions kind of spawn off as we went. So we go on to question 3. So let's say what happens just in general. All right. Let's say you have a dream. He has a dream. Right now, y'all might not be where you are. You might be broken building. But what happens when y'all's dreams don't match? And when I say that, give a scenario. Okay, I know you're in finance. You taking over the finance world, Dr. Ford. I know that. I see you. Let's say your husband is like, okay, she's making money. That's cool. I'm just going to take a more lax job. And for a lack of a better example, please don't take this as me downing anyone and where they work. But let's just say he's going to go stock shelves at Walmart. He might have a little wandering eye. He just wants something laid back. There's plenty of people that walk through the store. It gives him a little chance to get out, but it's not really contributing to, y'all's goals and dreams as a family unit. What happens in your mind when these things don't match? Well, let me leave it there first.
Okay, so if they don't match, I mean, it's a lot of times they don't match. And when you're in a relationship, you're in a marriage, it's sometimes it's always someone makes a little bit more than the the other person. But I think if there's a way that you all can, if there's a good relationship, a good that person is caring, because it's not always about matching the money, but what else can you bring to the relationship that will magnify the relationship to make it better or to make it good. So I think that's important though. Money is very important. However, if like I said, if they don't have the money, they're not making the money that you're making, but they're bringing other qualities to the relationship that's making the relationship happy. Then money, and if you're happy and secure in your relationship or with the money that you are making together, then I don't see an issue. Does that make sense?
It does, and that's a really interesting take. Me on the other hand, being someone single, I'm trying to take over I'm trying to do my thing and take over the financial industry right with you. And I ain't gonna lie, if I look over here to the side and you're supposed to be my helpmate, we're supposed to build this empire together, like the two of us working together, and the other person is lacking, for me, that is almost grounds to say, I'm gonna go my way.
But if they're when you say lacking, you mean lacking for as just they have have a mediocre job. But what if they don't have making the money that you're making, but they're bringing other qualities to the relationship? I mean, I understand what you're saying. You want somebody that's making 7 figures like you make 7 figures. However, what if they're not making? What if they're making 6 figures or less? So you're gonna just dump them to the curb? Like, hey, dude, look, you're gonna get up, go, because you're not making enough money. What are you gonna do?
Well, if I'm making 7 figures, the doggone least you can do is make 6. And you can join me, okay? Like I said, we can do this together. We can make this a tag team back again event. But if you're not willing to go there, at least if you have those characteristics, bring your characteristics to South Beach over here with me, and let's build this empire together. Right. And so
Yeah,
I,
I agree with that. I mean, I can understand. I respect your perspective. That's
yeah,
that's cool. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely cool.
Okay. Look, we're gonna move on to this next question.
Okay.
So of course, you have two different people, two different interests. So you and your husband, y'all are two different people. Y'all might be into two different things. Let's just say, as him pursuing his dream and you pursuing yours,
Mhm.
what happens if they find someone else with that same common interest? You're in
Mm.
finance, you are around other people in finance, and there's someone who looks nice, they're attractive, not necessarily that you really like them, but something about them kind of sparks something in you, like, okay. Like, he could be a good, if I was single, he could be a good guy.
Mhm.
What happens when the two don't mix and they find someone else? Do you stay and fight for the relationship? Or is there grounds to say I'm done? And when I say fight for the relationship, just because I was in the trenches with you beforehand, good times and bad. The question is, are you which stance would you prefer to take? Or which stance do you think you would take in your relationship? In your marriage. Let's go.
Well, I would fight. I would most definitely fight for my marriage.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't make people stay. You can't make
You
people do
can.
anything.
You
So if
can.
they choose to go and be with someone else, that's on them.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? I can't control what no one controls what no one does. So if
Right.
they choose to go and be, if they found this person is have more of what they like or they're more interesting to them, then let them go. I'm not going to try to hold anybody back from doing what you want to do. At the end
Right.
of the day, that's on you. Because I know what I bring to
But
the table.
yes. But I have a question. Okay, so this is just my own little side question. You say you're gonna fight for the relationship. Are you fighting for the relationship? Like as in I'm gonna fight for this thing? Or are you karate chopping? Like are you karate chopping him and her?
No, I'm just literally, literally fighting for the relationship. I'm not. I'm no, no, I'm fighting for the relationship. For it's just trying to keep my, through counseling or whatever it takes to keep
Okay.
the relationship, um, together. That's what I
Okay.
mean. Yeah,
That's
that.
awesome. And
Yeah.
I realize your
But like I
answer.
said, you can't make people do things. So you have to let people allow individuals to make their own choices. And they have to,
Right.
and that's fine with me. I'm good with
Right.
that.
Okay. And I love your answer as a married woman. If I was married, I probably would say the same thing.
Mhm.
But as a single woman, if you if you find somebody else with the same interest, go ahead on. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, I could stay and fight, but the question is, am I gonna stay in? I've been in these trenches for 3 years. Am I gonna stay somewhere where I'm not necessarily my value isn't recognized? Um, I'm not getting what I need. Am I going to the fact that you pick somebody else over me, knowing that I was here first? You
Yeah.
know,
I mean that's
um,
hard. That is very hurtful. It's
it
very
is.
hurtful. It's hurtful. All of us have gone through different relationships with people who have hurt us, and when you enter in a marriage, you say a vow, you say your vows, and you want to you respect that, but a lot of
Mhm.
people don't understand that, and so
Right.
you try to. That's why I say you want to fight as much as you can, but like I said, you can't make
Mhm.
anyone do what they need to do, to be what you need them to
You're
be
right.
for you. So you allow them to
You're
move
right.
on.
Yeah. And I ain't gonna lie, I would have to weigh that out and see, because the question is, am I, is this relationship enough for me to fight for, or
Yeah.
am I just
Mhm.
fighting and wearing myself out? Like, am I gonna stay in this relationship 3 years? Am I gonna stay 3 years in a day and
Yeah.
keep letting this go on? And the question is it time for me to nip it and choose myself, or is this
Mhm.
relationship worth it? And
Well, when you're tired. When you're tired, and you know when to let it go.
yes, yes, yes.
You'll know when to fight it when you're done fighting. You will,
Right.
you'll know.
Right.
Yes.
So let me say, I'm gonna ask one more question, and we're gonna segue into another little section. Now that we got our little fun question and answer. But
Okay.
saying that you would stay and fight, the question is the last and final question in this area. What would be your deal breaker? If you have one, what would be the one thing that would make you say, I'm out, foul on the play, throw the white flag, I'm done? Which, I mean, do you have a deal breaker?
Yeah, I think everybody has a deal breaker at some
Okay.
point. You do, and I think the deal breaker would be, if you just seem like you just did not care. I think that would be the deal breaker for me.
Mm,
If you just, showed me you did not care and you didn't show any interest at all about, about your family, the nothing. That to me, that would be the deal breaker. It's like,
wow.
enough is enough.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
that's
Um,
yeah.
yeah, whether we are married or single, we've all been in a situation where you felt not valued, not appreciated,
Yeah, yeah,
just someone taking you for granted. And
exactly.
it's not too, we want to point out, it's not about that person, never off the basis of how someone treats you, think that your
Mhm.
value is less. It depends on who
Right.
is handling, you know, who is handling you. If you have someone who is, someone who is really gentle handling an egg,
Mm,
they can handle that. That's fragile. But the question
right.
is, would you hand that same egg to your toddler that is all over the place? They'll destroy that egg. They don't know what to do with it. Probably trying to bounce it and play with it, and that's not
Right.
what that egg's for.
That's right.
So, yeah. So I agree. I
Yeah.
will say, when were you going to say something, Dr. Ford? Were
Oh
you
no,
going to
I
say
was just
something?
listening to you. Go ahead. I was no, I don't want to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Now, I will say, with the gentleman that we talked to, you know,
Mhm.
the one who was gonna pay for everything, he didn't necessarily have a deal breaker other than this woman
Mm.
decided to step out and do what he might be doing, which, like I said, that's a whole nother topic and conversation in and of itself. Um, but like I said, regardless, whatever they choose in their relationship is two totally different things. He just would have to
Right.
be ready for the consequences. The other gentleman that I spoke to was like, heck yeah, I have a deal breaker. If she's not contributing, like if she doesn't hold up to this bargain, for lack of a better word, that we came to in the very beginning, did she hold up her end? When we had a conversation, did she say, okay, this is going to take me 2 years, 3 years, I need you to handle the bills? Or, did she say, okay, I'm going to still keep pursuing my dreams and get a part time job and still contribute?
Yeah.
Or did he agree to, still take on everything, and she was going to pay for, maybe they agree to, take a little break and go on vacations, maybe every
Mhm.
3 months or quarterly. Is she going to take care of that? And so his whole thing was, whatever she decides, I don't know, did she keep up with whatever we agreed on in the first place? And I agree with that. Relationships, trust is everything. Trust and communication. If I can't trust what you say, or you're not communicating what's going on, we're going to have some issues anyway. Do you agree, Dr. Ford?
I definitely agree. I definitely agree.
All right.
I definitely
So, yeah. So now that we have kind of talked about some things that could get in the way in relationships and some things that we probably need to deal with, now I think we should kind of transition to, what can we do to meet in the middle? So, what can we do where, if this person that I'm with is broke in building and I'm broken building, which is totally fine. Like, if we're building towards something and we say, okay, we're going to build together, that's awesome. So, let's go into the other little part. So, let's say in a perfect world, with the right person, both of y'all are building. Um, no, sometimes one person has to take the back burner, sometimes someone else has to take the back burner. But the question is, you know, is there a way that we can both be broke and build? And when I say build our dreams, I mean build our dreams, build our home, build our finances in the meantime. What do you think, Dr. Ford? Is there a way, like, do you know of a way where, we can both be broke and still be building together? What do you think?
You can be both be broke and building together.
We're trying.
Absolutely.
We out here with,
Yeah,
just
definitely, most definitely.
Mhm.
I mean, and it's just you having the same, you've been on the same page with what,
Right.
excuse me, with in the direction you're trying to go in. So if you're
Mhm.
both trying to be in the financial field, or then you have goals, and then you're working together as a team to make that happen, to get out of
Right.
the broke stage and to get into the wealthy stage.
Right.
So, and then even if you have different goals, if maybe they want to become I don't know, electrician or something, and you still trying to do financial services,
Mhm.
then you still can have a goals together, and you can merge those goals. But even though you're going to two different career choices, but you can still make it work.
Yeah. Yeah. And the cool
Mhm.
thing too that I kind of thought about, of course, we're both in the finance world. We know that there are ways that people can be broke, quote
Mhm.
unquote, and still build. And there are ways to do that. A good financial advisor you should be able to meet with that person and, like, let's look at everything. Let's look at what you are spending, the money that's going out. Let's do what's called a financial needs analysis. You may be out here spending valuable money on different things that could really help you build. Those children don't really need all of these little, computer, not really computer games, but, if they like to play Xbox or whatever, or we're
Yeah.
eating out a lot, just
Mhm.
because we don't have time, it might be time for me to start cooking. That way I can make, a bigger quality meal for cheaper. Um,
Right.
you know, yeah, I mean,
So
there's a couple of
did I answer your question? I mean, I don't know if
you
I.
did.
Like, how can we
Yes.
build? Because there's so many ways we can build, especially what you said in financial services,
Right.
and what we do. Yeah, we can allow you to build as well. So I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, and then I know episode 1 we kind of talked about, all of these different streaming services that people have: Hulu, Netflix, HBO streaming, Disney Plus, all of that stuff adds up. Amazon,
Yeah.
all of those different things add up, and we need to be aware of those things. So if somebody doesn't have the money available, you need to meet with a good financial advisor like myself and like Dr. Ford here, who can go over those things with you. The idea is not for us to be in your business. The idea is, if most people feel stuck, they feel like they don't have wiggle room. In order for you to get out of that hole, we got to wiggle a little bit so we can create some space so that we can get out of that hole. Do you agree with what I'm
I
saying?
definitely agree. Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely agree with what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. And we have, flexible accounts that we help clients with, where with those accounts, they can start with a small amount. It didn't have to be a lot. All of those little subscriptions, if they decided to keep just one, let's say you decide to keep Hulu for a good $5.99, $6.99 a month, however much it is, and you're gonna let the rest go. Now you have $50. Wonderful. Let's take that $50 and let's start doing something where we can make that $50 grow. And so, of course, we do know of accounts where, you can get compound interest. Compound interest on, even $50 a month can make a big deal. So you want every one of your dollars going to work for you. And of course, we help people with that all the time. But the idea is, with relationships, we need to find a way to meet in the middle. And that may be a way that we can combat that. Do you
Yeah.
agree, Dr. Ford?
I definitely agree because when you think about it, a lot of times when couples enter into a relationship, they don't even talk about money. I was reading that an article said about was it 86% of the people who enter relationships never discuss finances. But the wealthy people, I think it was like they're at 57 to 58% that they discuss their
Yeah.
finances before they enter into a relationship or marriage.
Yeah.
Because they want to know, the dynamics of, the finances. What, how we gonna split this money
Absolutely.
up? Yeah, what you bringing to the table, what I'm bringing to the table, or do we need to
Yeah.
sign a prenup, or so
What
that's
she
very
said.
important.
Look, prenup, that's a good idea. Note that. Put that on the list. So, and it is important to talk about these things because, like I said, you can easily, of course, the Bible says that we shouldn't judge, but we can easily judge somebody that we just met off of, judge somebody that we just met off of their situation. Somebody could be broke and building, but a lot of women, they don't ask how much money you make, where you work. You might not be where you are supposed to be, and it's going to be some women or some men as you go along that's going to look at you like, she ain't talking about nothing there. And so, we don't necessarily want that to happen. While there are definitely ways that you can still be quote unquote broke and building and still be building in other aspects of your life. And I think that's real cool. Now, I did think of something else though. Now, I know we said we were done with questions, but have you thought about what we would do in this relationship? How the one person said, "Okay, yeah, I'm going to take a back seat. I'm going to let my partner pursue their dreams." What happens if the person who took on everything, let's say they got overwhelmed and it's a lot of pressure, and they ended up, heaven forbid, having a heart attack or a stroke just one Christmas when that person got these Christmas lists that these kids want, and they're not out here realizing that their parent is out here working hard, and they ended up getting sick just from all the pressure. What happens then? What would happen in your relationship, do you think, Dr. Ford? What's your take?
I mean, I
What
think
can
it
we
would just make more of a hardship. It's going to definitely make a hardship, and the person that's doing all the working, and they're working hard, and then they get sick, and then I mean, that's just like terrible. I mean, that's like an earthquake just happened, and so
it is?
we need to be prepared for things like that. If you're going to be, if you have a significant other that's trying to pursue their goals, and you're working, you need to try to find some resources that can help you in the event that you do get sick, so that you'll still be able to maintain or do better. Your standard of living can still go on as if nothing ever happened. So we can
Right.
provide those resources for you.
Hmm. And I like how you said make sure that we maintain or we're better. And I know for a lot of people that doesn't make sense. Like, okay, if one person isn't working and then now the breadwinner just cut out, how are we gonna keep afloat or even be better? And we know, with the type of accounts that we help people with, um, life does happen. Wealthy people also realize that life does happen. But the difference in them and us, a lot of times, they prepare for when those things maybe could happen. And so this same account that we usually help people with that our wealthy clients use, they have what's called complementary living benefits, or I say sickness benefits, where if you get sick, the company sends you a check every month as income replacement. Like, did you know that was possible at all? Well, let's say before you entered the finance world.
I did not know, and I think that is so awesome. I think that is
Mhm.
so awesome. Oh, it's
Yeah,
storming here. Yeah, yeah, it's storming.
yeah,
Yeah, do you all hear that background noise? It's storming. Can
I
you hear it?
do because it's storming here as
Okay,
well.
okay, I
It's
didn't know.
nice
Okay.
and overcast,
Yeah.
very dark.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
coming
I didn't know about that before, and so I
in.
think that's so interesting, and it's so needed. And people, a lot of people don't realize how important having that living benefit. Um,
Mhm.
they that how important it is to have that in the event something does happen.
Right.
And not just having like a heart attack or stroke, but if you are involved in a car accident, and you can't work, you may, it's just all types of things that can happen. And so you definitely need to be protected, protect yourself and protect your family so you can
Mhm.
maintain a standard, a standard way of life or living for your family.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And I'm gonna interject with a quick story time. Story time,
okay,
story
that's
time.
fine. You're going to story time.
So I was gonna tell you a little story. I mean, I know this was before you and I met, but I even had something, a little freak accident happen where, like I said, I was on my way on vacation. So I was working hard, working as a pharmacist. You work hard, you want to play hard. So I was headed out of the country to Bali, Indonesia, and got a humongous blood clot in my leg that shot and turned into a pulmonary embolism, a medical emergency. There's no history of that happening, but it was a super long flight, 36 hours there, 36 hours back, halfway there, about 18 hours in Singapore. That happened. I'm trying to figure something out, and I know medically with my background, you got about 24 hours, so you better figure out something.
Right.
God that the Lord kept me. One of my good friends had aspirin because apparently over there they don't have aspirin, just Tylenol. But I could see the Lord even working through all of that. But stayed over there 8 days. I could tell something was wrong. I tried not to panic. Took 4 flights back, came back, and I was in the hospital indefinitely. I only budgeted for that 2 weeks that I was going to be gone. And then I was going to be right back at it. I got to make some money. I got to keep letting them, keep everything happening and flowing. And it didn't happen like that. They were like, ma'am, every medicine we try works the opposite on you. We don't know if you're going to be here for a couple weeks or a couple months, but you might as well get comfortable. I wasn't, counting on that. And I didn't know anything about this account. So most of the time when things happen, things hit us directly in the pocket. The family goes down, because everything hits us in the pocket. We have worked hard all these years to try to save. And then it's crazy how in a matter of, a couple weeks or even a month of not having income, or 2 or 3 months, how all of that hard work that we've done for years is out the window. And so I'm here to be a walking PSA to tell people don't be like me. I didn't know about this account. And if I had known about it and had those living benefits, I could have just been relaxing, chilling, trying to recover. Now, I'm not saying that I wouldn't be stressed out about the situation because it was still a critical condition. It was still touch and go, but I could have been receiving a check to take care of my bills and go from there. Instead, I had to use up my hard-earned savings, and when I almost got down to the end, I'm thinking, okay, I can finally go back to work. And that was not the case. And so the type of clot I had, I had to be out for anywhere between 5 to 6 months to let this clot break down. If anything had happened where I decided to go to work and something happened, they had already told me, we can't save you. It won't be an option. So I had to sit here and just kind of endure. And so I made it out of that situation. And that's another reason why I decided to go into finance, just hearing about all the different things that no one has ever bothered to share. No one has ever bothered to show. No one has ever helped me and said, come on in. Let me take you in. Let me show you how wealthy people do it so you can start to maneuver differently. Fortunately, I did have somebody, bring me into this circle, and it's been great so far. But, it really didn't, it was tough at the time because I didn't know about it. Now I know better, and myself and Dr. Ford are here, to try to help others not to go through the same thing. Dr. Ford, I'm not sure what, if she's been through anything life threatening, but, just, it really makes you put things into perspective, put life into perspective. But at the same time, money isn't everything, but money does make it easier. And, a lot of times we can deal with stressors way better when money is around. You have options. Money gives you options. And, like I said, it's not everything, but options is what you want. Were you going to say something, Dr. Ford?
No, I was just gonna. Well, yeah, it was. I was just gonna say that's one of the leading causes of divorce. It's not having enough money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the statistics. I did read about it, but I don't have it right here with me. But it's one of the leading causes of divorce, money problems. People don't want to interact with their spouse in certain ways when money is you don't have money. So there's a lot of different things that have that impacts your relationship when finances is a factor. So I think and that's what we try to do is educate people on financial literacy. To know that to help them out.
And I don't remember what the statistic is either, the exact number, but it's high. It's really, really high. Where, like I said, I want to say every 1 in 2 relationships are breaking up, because of finances. And that's crazy. When we can do something else about it, we can sit here, we can talk, we can have a conversation, we can sit down together like, hey, babe, we got to do something different. I'm with you for the long haul. You with me for the long haul. We building together. Let's go find out information that we may not know, because you don't know what you don't know till somebody else tells you something you don't know.
That's true.
And I will say in the finance world, there's a lot we did not know beforehand.
Right.
And it's going to be quite a few people who feel the same way. And, with us, we don't want to just be 2 lone rangers. We don't want to just be the only 2 chicks out here chatting about money. We want other people to come join us. We want to be able to have, people like-minded who want to know more. It starts with them realizing I need help and I don't know what I need to know. And you don't want to leave your finances just up in the air. You don't want to just not be preparing, not be saving, yet, giving your money to somebody and just hoping at the end of the day it's going to shake out. Or in a couple of years, you're going to be fine. They did right by you and, everything was cool. So you don't want to put that on the line.
Right. And I just read money is the leading cause of arguments and besides infidelity. Could you put that back up there? Money arguments are the second leading cause of divorce, around 40% behind infidelity. Thank you so much.
So you got people out here that's having infidelity because they don't have any money. And their partner's out here looking nasty and disgusting to them all of a sudden. And then, now we heading to divorce because you ain't have no money in the first place. Thought you was out here doing something, and you're really not. So look, the two actually go together very well. I mean, it's like freaking frat.
That's
so
true.
Yeah. So, I guess we'll start to wrap up the show here. If y'all want to know more, like I said, we're going to have a full month of these discussions. We're going to have some little surprises as we go. But I do think today was fun about, broker building. And we did cover love. And like I said, as we go along, we're going to cover, like I said, lies, envy.
Yeah.
What those things can do. Yes. Yeah. And like I said, they can really tear down relationships. So I'm going to let Dr. Ford here give her contact info, and I'll give mine afterwards, and we'll get ready to wrap this thing on.
Okay, let me give you my contact information. I'm going to give out my 800 number today because I need to.
Okay, so come on, 800 number. She's international, y'all.
855-800. But it is 855-937-6742. That's 855-937-6742. You can also find me on Facebook under Renee Ford. And you can also just send me a text to that number as well, that 800 number. and leave me a message, and we can set up in a time. And you can come to my office. My office is located at 3661 Brainerd Road, Suite 302, Chattanooga, Tennessee 37411.
Okay, awesome. And I'm gonna give y'all my. It's not a 1-800 number. I have a 1833 number, but my office number is 1-833-837-6352. Again, that is 1-833-837-6352. My phone number is also in acronym form. So how you see my name up here on the screen, I know children nowadays, they don't really know anything about, the phones where you had to actually hit the buttons that correlated with the letters. But with mine, my phone number is really 1-833 Vernica. So if you can't remember the number, my name is on screen. Just find the letters that correlate with the, with the numbers, and you can reach me at any point. You can also reach me on Facebook, Instagram as well, but Facebook, and my profile is wide open. I should have on a striped shirt, and there should be a disclaimer about, my previous profile being hacked. So I'm actually blocked from my own profile. The hackers did that. And if you see any craziness up there about, Bitcoins and cash apps and, basically people trying to scam, wrong page. That is not me. You should see my page should be open. I should have a striped shirt on, and it will give a disclaimer about, my first page being hacked, and welcome. So, I have thoroughly enjoyed today.
I have too. We transitioned to something different. So this is awesome.
Yeah.
Looking forward to all these different episodes that we have to come through next month.
Me too.
Yeah.
So we appreciate y'all for tuning in today.
We do. Thanks so much.
Next week, when we do a little more chit-chatting about money, we will see y'all then. So we're signing off. Y'all have a good one.
Have a good one. Take care.